Welcome, my friends, to the darkest corners. Today's tales take a nautical twist. Hope you enjoy these stories. Again, please like, subscribe, join, and if you dislike, please hit the dislike button. All that helps the algorithm and helps me grow this channel in this new year. Thank you and have a great week. When the fog came ashore, the first warning wasn't the fog, it was the silence. I live in a coastal town on the mainland. Nothing special, just the kind of place where people wave at strangers and leave their doors unlocked longer than they should. We get fog sometimes. Thick, heavy coastal fog that rolls in overnight and disappears by mid-morning. But this fog didn't behave like anything natural. It started offshore. I remember because I was on the pier that night. It was late October, cold enough to see your breath. The ocean was restless, but there was no storm forecasted. No wind, no rain, just black water stretching endlessly into the horizon. Then I saw it, a wall of fog. Not patches, not mist, a wall. It stretched across the entire horizon like a solid barrier rolling slowly toward shore. At first it looked normal, but then I realized something was wrong. It was too uniform, too dense. It didn't shift or swirl naturally. It moved like it was alive, like it had intent, and it was fast. Within minutes, it swallowed the buoys offshore. Their blinking red lights disappeared one by one, like eyes closing. I remember feeling this deep, primal dread settle in my stomach, like something ancient had just noticed us. I went home after that. I locked my doors. I don't know why, but something in my gut told me to. By morning, the mainland was completely consumed. You couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of you. The fog wasn't white like normal fog. It had this grayish, sickly tint to it, like ash suspended in the air. It clung to everything. Houses, cars, trees. It even seeped inside through cracks in the windows. The air smelled wrong, not salty like the ocean. It smelled like rot, like something dead had been left out too long. The town shut down almost immediately. Schools closed, businesses didn't open, people stayed inside. At first, it was just unsettling. Then the sound started. That night, I heard something outside my house. Footsteps, slow, dragging, not walking, dragging. I froze in my living room, staring at the front door. The footsteps stopped right outside. Then came the scratching, long, deliberate scratches against the wood. Not frantic, curious, like whatever it was examining the door. I didn't breathe, didn't move. Then it spoke, not in words, but in something worse. A whisper that sounded like multiple voices layered together, high and low, male and female, human and something else. It sounded like it was trying to remember how to speak. The doorknob rattled, slowly, testing. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. The scratching stopped. The footsteps dragged away. I stayed frozen there until morning. By the second day, people started disappearing. At first, it was small things. A neighbor not answering their phone. A car left running in a driveway with no one inside. Then it escalated. My neighbor across the street, Carl, ran outside screaming. I watched from my window. He kept yelling, "They're in the fog! They're in the fog!" He ran straight into it. I never saw him come back. Later, his front door was wide open. There were deep claw marks carved into the wood. Something had come inside, or something had gone out. The third night is when I saw one. I had boarded up my windows by then, but I left a small gap in the wood to look outside. I wish I hadn't. It was standing in the middle of the street, tall, too tall. Its body was thin and stretched like its bones were too long for its skin. Its arms hung almost to its knees. Its head was tilted at an unnatural angle, and it wasn't still. It twitched, small, jerky movements, like a puppet being controlled by invisible strings. Its skin was gray, knots, wet, like it had just crawled out of the ocean. Then it turned toward my house. I dropped to the floor immediately. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would hear it. The scratching came again, this time on the boarded window, slow, patient. It knew I was inside. I heard its breathing, wet, heavy. And then it mimicked my voice. "Hello?" It sounded exactly like me. Same tone, same pitch, but wrong. Like it didn't understand what the word meant. I didn't respond. I didn't move. After what felt like hours, it left. But I knew something worse. It knew where I lived. The emergency broadcast started on day 4. Static-filled messages on the radio. Stay indoors. Do not enter the fog. Do not respond to voices outside. Then the message cut off with screaming. After that, nothing. No government, no police, no help. Just fog. And them. On day 6, the power went out. The nights became absolute darkness. That's when the spirits came. These weren't like the creatures. These were shapes, figures moving inside the fog. You could see them faintly through the windows. Human silhouettes, dozens of them, standing, watching. They didn't scratch. They didn't speak. They just watched. And sometimes they pointed at houses, at people, choosing, marking. On day 7, the house next door was taken. I heard screaming. A family of 4. The father tried to fight. I heard the door break. The mother begging. The children crying. Then silence. In the morning, their front door was gone. Just gone. Inside, the walls were covered in long black streaks, like something had been dragged across them. No bodies, no blood, just absence. I haven't left my house in 9 days. Food is running out. Water too. But I won't go into the fog. I hear them every night now. More of them, scratching, whispering, calling my name, using voices I recognize. Carl, my mother, my own voice. They want me to open the door. They want me to come outside. Last night I made a mistake. I looked through the gap in the boards again. The street was full of them, dozens, standing silently, facing my house, waiting, their heads tilted, their bodies twitching, like they knew it was only a matter of time. And in the center of them all, something bigger, something darker. It didn't twitch. It didn't move. It just stood there. Its eyes were completely black, and it was smiling. Not a human smile. Something older, something evil. It raised one long finger and pointed directly at me. It knows I see it. It knows I'm still here. And the fog isn't leaving. It's spreading. I heard on the radio before it died that other towns are gone. Entire cities swallowed. No survivors. If you're hearing this, if the fog reaches you, don't go outside. Don't listen to the voices. Don't open the door. Because once you let the fog see you, it never forgets. And it never leaves empty-handed. Welcome everyone to Nautical Nightmares, the channel dedicated to exploring the unexplained and the terrifying tales that lurk beneath the waves. Tonight, we're diving into a chilling account from the rugged coast of Maine, a story whispered by fishermen and feared by locals. This isn't just a tale of a bad storm, it's a story of what that storm dragged in from the deep and what it left behind. Our story begins in the quaint, picturesque town of Havenwood, Maine, a place renowned for its lobster boats, lighthouses, and a tranquility that lulled its residents into a false sense of security. Sarah, a marine biologist in her late 20s, had lived in Havenwood her entire life. She loved the ocean, but even she, with all her scientific understanding, couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that something ancient and unknowable stirred in its deepest, darkest trenches. It was late October, and the air was thick with the scent of salt and an impending shift in the weather. Reports from offshore fishing vessels spoke of an unusually aggressive storm front rapidly approaching, unlike anything they'd seen in years. The atmospheric pressure was plummeting at an alarming rate, and the satellite imagery showed a swirling vortex of unimaginable power. The sky grew heavy, bruised purple and green as the wind began to howl its mournful song. The townsfolk, seasoned by countless nor'easters, started to batten down the hatches, but there was an unusual tension in the air, a primal unease that settled deep in their bones. This wasn't just a storm, it felt like a reckoning. Old Man Hemlock, the town's oldest fisherman, with eyes that had seen 100 seasons, had been muttering about the deep ones stirring, and the tide turning dark. No one had taken him seriously then, but as the first monstrous waves began to crash, his words echoed in Sarah's mind like a death knell. The storm hit Havenwood with a ferocity that defied description. Waves towering like liquid mountains crashed against the rocky shore, swallowing entire sections of the beach. The lighthouse, a beacon of hope for centuries, was engulfed in the tempest, its light struggling to pierce the maelstrom. Sarah, hunkered down in her sturdy old house overlooking the bay, watched in awe and terror as nature unleashed its full fury. The wind shrieked like a banshee, and the rain hammered against the windows as if trying to break through. But amidst the deafening roar of the tempest, Sarah began to hear something else, a sound that was distinctly not of the wind or the waves, a low, guttural moan, a deep vibration that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the ocean, vibrating through the bedrock and into her very bones. It was a sound that spoke of ancient misery and boundless hunger. The power flickered and died, plunging her into an inky blackness punctuated only by the brief, blinding flashes of lightning that briefly illuminated the chaos outside. Each flash seemed to reveal fleeting, monstrous shapes in the churning foam, shapes too vast and unnatural to be mere debris.